Hello, I'm Jane Street, and I apologize, well, we apologize for being a little late starting, but we had an alcohol tragedy, and, and you know we can't start till that happens. Also, I've never met a pattern or 12 that I couldn't shove into one outfit, and, thank you, and also, I believe her. All right, welcome to That's What She Said.
This program is brought to you through the kind support of the Friends of That's What She Said. Support BCTV by visiting bctv.org/support.
It used to be great, now it's not so great, but it's still pretty great. Reading. Eat pretzels non-stop and pot pie on top. For dessert till we drop. Perks. Did they really say that? They did not say that. Yeah, they did say that. That's what she said.
Welcome to That's What She Said. House cleaning first, of course. You can call us at 610-378-0426. That's 378-0426 with the 610 in front of it. Or tweet us at @ she tweets to me. I have the Twitter already. Yes, tweet us. Is that the act of twitting? Never. Twit. We're all Twitters here tonight. And let's see, is there any other house cleaning things? No. We have Sheila and Martha and Nicole and
Elizabeth.
Hey, Lizzie.
the ever-expanding Nicole.
Oh, right. And already sliding out of the chair.
But that's a wonderful dress.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
It's very cool.
It's part of the wardrobe that still fits, so I made it tonight.
Oh, my goodness. Well, I totally must talk about the wine. Look at all this schmear Martha brought. She brought
So much
pretzel
good
bites
stuff.
and
She
pumpkin
spoils
balls from castrati pumpkins and
Cheese
some
with bacon.
cheese.
And the wine is
Tailgate.
Mountain Nittany, Tailgate Red, made near State College, and I bought this to honor Penn State.
We are Penn State.
And their upcoming Ohio State game.
Boo, Ohio.
So here's to you, Penn State.
Sorry to all our Ohio viewers.
Sorry, Penn State.
You're not a Penn State fan, huh?
I am. I worked for Penn State for a long time.
Oh, well. You work?
I do.
Oh, my goodness.
I do not work ever. She works hard. Like I never don't work.
Well, speaking of drinking, I didn't know this. I found it out when we got the little sheets here with the topics. They really don't sell paper straws at Giant.
I can't find any.
I don't understand why they'd sell paper straws anywhere. Don't they melt with the water?
Well,
when you drink?
but they're better than using what I use because this damages the environment and the little fishes and all of that. Yes,
I
You know what you can
understand.
do, though?
but the paper ones do.
They melt.
They will deteriorate, so you can buy like
Hard plastic.
Hard plastic, that's what I use, and I reuse it. Or you get, like, not steel, but aluminum.
Like metal.
Some
Yes.
sort of metal ones you can get, too, and those are good,
But
too.
we're in
Titanium,
first.
silicone.
but we're in 2018. Can't they come up with a disposable plant-based straw that doesn't mush up when you put it in liquid?
Now extrapolate that out. We're in 2018. Why can't they come up with a multitude of other things that would fix a lot of problems?
I think we'll be saying that for the rest of our lives. Why can't
It's
they?
because
That's not high in
plastic,
their priority list.
Straws are at the bottom of the barrel, I think. We have a lot
plastic
of
straws
bigger
are
fish to
cheap,
fry.
and you
And
know,
the plastics industry has such a firm grip on the United States Congress. Yeah, okay, fine. No
paper straws.
but really, not at Giant.
No, I cannot find them, but I can order them from Amazon.
Well,
Do you like them? They melt.
Paper
eventually.
straws? No.
Yeah.
I got a paper straw in something recently, and it held up.
I like paper
Yeah.
straws.
I've only ever used one once. I was not a fan.
Really?
I was not a fan.
What if you sprayed
paper.
it with acrylic?
I have to be honest with you. I am not very environmentally friendly. I apologize in advance, but I'm not. I waste like hell.
Okay.
I'm sorry. I still
I
love
love you. I
it,
keep
but
trying.
That's all right.
hey, I stopped drinking bottled water though.
I'm
well,
very
except for
proud
this
of
one.
this.
That was not me. I didn't purchase that. I stole
You
it.
recycle
okay.
it. It's okay.
Yes, I'm trying.
That's much more than
I'm
one
trying.
Oh,
straw.
that's right. Is there water out there for Nicole?
Yes.
I'm good for
There is
thank you.
water.
Yeah, there is.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, anyway, Mr. Kavanaugh,
Oh boy, he's under fire, isn't he?
he's under fire.
He's in a lot of trouble.
Now, here's the thing. I agree that people shouldn't be held responsible for things they do when they're a child, because we grow as adults and we become, but one should also accept responsibility for what they do. Also, most kids
He
don't...
wasn't quite a child when that.
Well, he wasn't a
He
child.
was 17.
And
Yeah.
It's an
also...
age to understand.
And also, there's a fine line between rumpus and good old fun
and being a jerk. Hey, we already have a call.
Oh my goodness!
Oh, it's Kavanaugh's wife, probably.
Calling to curse us out.
Mrs. K, who are you?
Or ask for help.
Hello, who do we have with us?
Larry.
Hello, Larry.
Hi, Larry.
Yeah, hi there.
What's up?
Well, I don't want to talk about Kavanaugh.
Well,
Good.
we're
No,
sick
but
of
not for the
hearing about
reasons
him,
you
so
don't want to talk with him.
go ahead.
Regarding paper straws, I'm old enough to remember when that was the only straw you could.
Right.
And the reason that they did away with paper straws, paper bags, cardboard this, and paper that is because the public demanded it. That's why they did it. It wasn't the plastic industry dictated it. The plastic industry, and I don't work for a plastic industry, they met a need, and then it got carried away because we, the American consumer, and then the worldwide consumer, wanted plastic this and plastic that, and they met our needs. Now we're villainizing them, but they're really not the villains. They created products that we wanted, and now I just wanted to put it into the proper
No, that's a very valid point.
That's a good
Jamie's
point.
late father-in-law worked in a plastics factory, the polymer, which no longer exists.
And the reason part of it was going from paper bags and paper this and paper that to plastic is that the environmentalists at the time said that we were killing too many trees for trivial things like paper cups and paper straws and paper bags and paper this and paper that. Let us go with something longer lasting. Plastic this and
Certainly came to the
plastic.
point. They certainly got it. Longer lasting.
All right.
Got it.
Absolutely.
Thank you for calling in.
Good point,
Yeah,
Larry.
that is an excellent
Yeah.
point. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, God bless both of you, or you.
Thank you.
I was going to say, which two of us are you seeing? All right, you have a good night.
Ladies been drinking or what? I don't know.
It's what we do here. Have a good night.
Thank you.
But to finish my thought, there's a definitive line between romping around, having a gay old, possibly drunken time, and sexual
Being a
assault.
jerk, yes.
Well,
Yes.
anytime you do anything to hurt somebody, whether you're 17 or 70, if it causes hurt to somebody's life, then you are
then you know what
then
you're
you are responsible for something. You have to take ownership
And
of
I-
that.
It's beyond that for me. Like I see this as he's been accused, yes, but I believe in the judicial system in that you are innocent until proven guilty. But she is not being given, and she didn't even want to come forward at first. She was sort of outed and now has said, okay, I will, and now there's other people coming forward. Due process needs to take place. And, there does need to be an investigation and see if he does need to be held accountable. In the meantime, everything else needs to shut down. And we need to wait on this
Well,
because
there has been an FBI investigation. Apparently, there were 4 FBI investigations on Judge Kavanaugh before, as he was
6,
vetted.
I think.
It was 6. The interesting thing is that in none of those cases did they show up that he was consuming a lot of alcohol in high school and college, which he's admitted to, and which, has become he's given speeches about it to the prep school that he went. And that didn't come up in the vetting. I thought that was kind of interesting. That
I guess
those-
they think
and
other
all
things
those-
are more important.
Well, yeah, just kind of
Bigger
interesting.
points to touch on.
and I get, and the other thing is, like, I think of what has happened to other people, other men in the past who've been accused of these things, and I think there's a couple of ways to handle it. You can handle it as, well, I take no responsibility for this, I'm entitled to be as who I am, blah, blah, blah. Or you can take it how some others have had. I think Dan Harmon is a good example where he came and gave this beautiful, heartfelt apology, and it was like, I didn't realize my actions were doing this, I apologize. He owned it. And that, I think, goes a long way towar's this being fixed, is
Which means
understand.
he's grown. He's not that person anymore. He's sorry about it.
Exactly.
I don't think I'm sorry works though. I know what you're saying, but
It doesn't
I think
heal
that's
it,
a cheap way of getting
but
out
it-
of it.
But it works better than, I didn't do
Well,
that.
it works better
Yes,
than denying.
or
it, exactly.
Boys will be
He did.
boys.
Yeah.
Or he was just a young kid, but you know what? So was
You
she.
know what's surprising
I
to me?
think-
Right.
Most of the people I hear saying, "Oh, boys will be boys,"
Are
are
boys.
women.
Well,
And
that's how
bothers
some
me.
of us have excused things that have happened to us. I think the thing that bothers me the most, though, is to hear somebody say, "Why didn't she tell her parents?" Come on, ladies. How many things similar to this happened to you when you were growing up that you would still not tell your parents about?
I don't
And
tell my parents anything.
I'm sure that women my age, you didn't tell anybody, and I could give you a score of situations, and everybody that's my age or within my generation, and certainly you younger women, but these kinds of things happen to us often, and we simply took a deep breath and went on. And did they change our lives? Yes, they did, but we took a deep breath and we went on, and maybe at some point we had to tell a therapist about them.
And I think, before we move on, I have to make this point. I was talking to a friend, and he said, "Well, she doesn't even know when it was or where it happened." And I'm like,
Right.
you remember the trauma. You don't necessarily remember the
Details.
specifics. So
And over
don't
time-
judge on not
Not remembering.
indeed.
And over time, your mind will push out details. Parts will remain
Oh,
vivid,
yeah.
and parts will become blurry.
Yeah.
But you will remember.
Oh,
Wow.
my goodness, it's
Already?
a
Oh, my
busy evening for
goodness.
home
Busy
viewers.
night.
This is his work.
Hello, welcome to That's What She Said. Who do we have?
Hello, you have Meg on the phone.
Hello, Meg.
Hello. So I wanted to call for a couple things. I don't like to do too many calls on the shows, but I wanted to call. First of all, Jane, you are a lady after my own heart. As many patterns as can be put together, I'm all about that. Secondly, San Francisco just passed their ruling that you can only have paper straws here. So we only
wow.
use paper straws in San Francisco.
That's
So
wonderful.
come on and visit. And other than that, I just wanted to thank you so much for having the show on. I came home after a tedious workshop, and I poured a glass of wine, and am enjoying the rest of the show. So way to go, ladies.
Oh, excellent. Thank you so much for watching.
Love you as always.
And side personal note, congratulations.
Thank you.
Indeed. All right. You have a good night. Enjoy the rest.
You too. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right. Here's a question. Now, we're going to get into this later, a little shortly, but we went on a field trip, and
Oh,
That was so much
what was
fun.
interesting is we all went in with preconceived notions of what we liked. Now, scent is an interesting thing.
And even more than that.
Well, indeed. It's like we had several categories, and people were like, "Oh, I like fruits, I like exotics, I like blah, 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 blah." As we went through the thing, we discovered that what you like isn't necessarily what you want to smell like. What do you think about that?
I agree.
Yeah, I agree completely. Well, I just have to say that the whole experience completely threw me for a loop because Martha suggested this thing and I was like, all right, here we go. And I always think to myself when these field trips come up, I'm like, why are we going to Kutztown again? What is happening here? And every time we go to Kutztown, I'm like, man, that was awesome. I gotta go to Kutztown more.
Again, I get it.
So like, I was having trouble finding parking. I was late because I like triple booked myself as usual. And I walk in, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be this like dank, dark cellar. It's gonna be super weird. I'm gonna be uncomfortable.
It's going to be full of tchotchkes.
I'm just gonna want to leave.
Like an antique
And then
shop.
and then I come upon it. And I'm like,
This is
what
amazing.
is this? And I walk in and I immediately feel at peace. All my rage is gone. It's like, I could be here for the rest of my life. What just happened to me? And it was completely against my preconceived notion of what this day was going to
But
be.
we need to tell them what we're talking about. We're talking about
Paisley and Company.
Paisley and Company.
It's amazing.
It was
Actually,
so
why don't
cool.
we just roll that first tape
Roll it.
and we'll get
Okay.
this whole thing
Awesome.
started.
Hi, we are going to tour Paisley and Company in Kutztown, Pennsylvania. If you haven't been here, you've got to be here. This is a soap and scent and wonderful place. We're going to be creating our own personal perfume scents today. And Jane is on the way, never fear. She's driving. She'll be here soon. We're all looking forward to this. It's a wonderful shop. You will enjoy everything that you see, I'm sure. So come on in and we'll show you more. This is Joanne Lapic. Joanne owns this wonderful store. We can hardly wait to see what she's going to have us do today. And she's going to tell you a little bit about how she started and what this store is all about.
Okay, so Paisley and Company I started back in 2003, and at the time I had been making these types of things really since the 70s, but I had an interest in opening a business of my own. My mother had a business, and to me, the concept of making your own bath product I thought was really wonderful. I always felt constrained myself when I went to the store and you were given an option between these 3 shampoos or this one facial scrub that invariably had apricot shells in it or whatever. And I just thought that people would really appreciate being able to be a little creative or to get things unstandard because there's so many people that are sensitive to things or have allergies or have a family member that they want to protect from asthma or something like that. Or I started having parties, and that's kind of what we're going to be doing today. We're going to be following our basic party format, which is I introduce people to our fragrances. And when I first started, I had 32 fragrances. Now we have between 300 and 350. We're not quite sure. It kind of changes. And we've got them in everything from the absolute lightest feng shui scents to huge cocoa things and chocolate and coconut and all those types of flavors. Lots of herbs, lots of essential oils. And at parties, I introduce people to a roster of scents, have them sample them, introduce them to things they may not have ever considered. And then we talk about combining them so that the ultimate goal is to design your own perfume, is what we're going to do today. Other parties will do lotions, room scenting options, body mists, linen sprays, even soaps.
Do you get people that create a profile for something and then come back and come get it all the time?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, we have quite an extensive database actually.
Okay.
So if you design something that you're really in love with, we record it in our computer. We'll also give you a copy of it. And that way, if you move or you want to call in an order, you can say, I have something and it's called Sea Angel or whatever. People name them weird things. And then we can retrieve it and make it. But it also gives you a baseline so that after you've worn something for a while, you could come back and say, the musk came through a little heavy, or that top note went too fast, I want to do something more about it. So you can tweak it or create a whole suite of things.
Or conversely, when Jane gets here, Jane could create a scent.
Yes.
And then she can send people here
Absolutely.
to get Jane.
Absolutely. It's absolutely true, and that happens all the time.
Wow.
I'm not.
And now we have with us the lady herself, Joanne Lapic. Welcome to That's What She Said.
Thanks very much.
I think we can just say it all as a group. we had such an amazing time at your
Absolutely.
shop.
You were pretty fun yourself. It was great. It was a great afternoon. Normally our parties take 2 hours. I think we were there like 4.
Well,
And that was without any wine.
see, and there were only 4 of us.
Right.
Yeah, unfortunately I had to leave early.
And I got there late,
that was
so
a
we
bummer.
balanced it.
Yeah, we balanced, but I was just so impressed at how, like, effortlessly knowledgeable you were. I mean, there's 400 bottles of stuff.
And you just knew
And
where
you
to
just
go.
knew everything about them and how they mixed and, like, the history of them. I'm just sitting there going, oh my gosh. Like, I felt, it was one of the coolest experiences I've ever had.
How you got to that point.
Yeah.
How did you?
Well, anytime you do anything for 15 years, I hope you
Right,
get better.
Are you honest?
But
Plan B.
how did you say, I want to work with scents?
Scents are so important to everybody. And they really are. You don't think they are, but they're what ties you to certain things. They're what remind you of things. I think it's just wonderful. And it's something that's creative. And also I like to cook, and scent and taste are so closely aligned. And I just thought that it would be a great idea to have a store where people can help to have a hand in their own designing. So that's where I ended up eventually. And scents, it's like cooking without any calories. It's like,
I like that.
You know that wall of 300 scents that I have? It's like opening your pantry and saying, none of this has any calories. It's just wonderful. What can I do with this? It's really essentially
It's
the
like
same
my
thing.
spice rack.
Exactly, exactly. You can have fun, combine things, and that's really, when you're saying, I know things effortlessly, it's just from trying things, the same way you are in your kitchen. You know, if you reach for the cardamom, you're not putting them on your green beans, you know what I mean? It's
Right.
You just know what goes with what.
And my daughter, as I said, my daughter loved the things that I sent her. And her background is chemistry. She said, so she must, are you a chemist?
No,
Do you have
not
a
at all.
background in chemistry?
I have a BFA in painting. I'm a
Okay.
fine
Oh,
artist.
That's interesting. Okay, Meg,
Which
got
makes
that
sense.
answer? Okay.
Not a chemist. I was wondering that myself,
to be honest
with you. No, absolutely not.
But along the line, you have picked up some chemistry in the,
Oh, absolutely.
the chemistry of scent. And
Yeah, and in that, I don't know it in depth like some people would if I were really truly a chemist, but I understand the chemistry of scent much the same way I do understand the chemistry of cooking. You know,
Right.
if you certain processes cause certain things to happen,
Right.
and in scents, certain additives cause certain things to happen. This is an emulsifier, same as it is in cooking. So they share a lot of the same language. They also scents, the story of fragrance shares a lot of the same terminology as music. Did you know that?
No, I did
Yeah.
I did.
You did, right? Okay. So
Musician.
so you smell something and you say, what do you say? It's got the top note,
Yes, top
right?
note and the bass.
More than one is called a chord. And that display that I have with the 300 bottles, that's called a perfumer's organ. Because you, oh yeah, seriously. Yeah. They share the same terminology.
Amazing.
Now, that makes you think, doesn't it? It's
Yes.
like all of these things that are creative outlets, but not massive splashy things. You're not painting a masterpiece or whatever. But they're everyday things that give us joy, and they share this language. So we love creating. Human
Sorry.
beings
You
love to
must
create.
go to the shop.
digression.
Just feel
Have
so
you ever,
happy.
because you like creepy things, have you ever read a book or seen a movie called Perfume?
No, do I need to?
Yes, you do.
Okay.
Yes, you do.
Yeah.
It's going to have to be
All
your
right.
next month movie review.
Yeah.
All right.
I do movie reviews.
All right,
so I
sorry.
don't have to-
That could
Shall
be
we roll the
interesting.
second one?
Yes.
All right. Roll that second piece.
Everybody's in the other room investigating all the stuff. So I thought I'd pull you aside for just a second. Let's get a quick overview of what the process will be for today.
Sure.
So you're saying that you said 300 and 350
300 to
cents?
350. But what I've done is I've pulled off probably about 60 different fragrances
Okay.
from those on the shelves. It doesn't mean I'm going to limit it to those, but if somebody says, oh, I absolutely must smell grape, okay, I'll get the grape out for you. But what I've done is I've divided them into categories, and I'm presenting about, say, 10 florals, 10 exotics, half a dozen fresh, clean fragrances. And we're going to go by category, and I'm going to ask everybody to rate them.
Okay.
and it'll be like sort of like a wine tasting. If they're not interested, I just want them to cross it off. But if they like it, they're going to have to come up with some sort of code to tell the difference between the thing that they like or the thing they really love. Is I'm going to say a little bit about which scents would blend with the thing that we're experiencing at that moment. So if we get to, let me just look here. Well, if they want to smell pumpkin pie,
It's the season.
yeah, they probably will. But there's a very limited number of things they can go with. The same thing goes for cucumber. A lot of people are over the moon about smelling cucumber because they like a very light, spa-like fragrance. But it has such a light character that you really have to be careful what you put it with, or you lose.
Or you just lose the cucumber.
Right, exactly.
Right.
We'll have people that will smell the first half of the menu. They'll say, don't like herbs, don't like spices, don't like exotics, and then suddenly we get to fruits, and it's like, you know, she's a 75-year-old woman, and she loves fruits. She wants everything to smell like strawberries and peaches. Okay.
And she never knew it.
And she never knew it, right, exactly. All that time wasted. And it's because people don't have the luxury of doing this in their normal life. If you want to buy a scent, that's a commitment. If you want to buy a cologne or a perfume. So you're really not likely to experiment with things. Here, we're going to offer you the opportunity to experiment with things. Try some things that you normally wouldn't even pick up.
Cool.
So I'm going to advise everybody how they go together, and we can test a couple of combinations. The goal today is to everyone make a perfume roller, which a perfume roller is a lovely thing. It's very concentrated. It's alcohol-free. So you don't get that whoosh of scent like you do with something that has alcohol in it, which is typical of most. It's going to be a low, slow, subtle, and long-lasting
Excellent.
scent.
Excellent.
It also, the way we're going to do it today, I'm going to stop them at 6 fragrances. If they want to put in 12, they can do it on their own time. But they're not today. But the more that
But
we
it
can allow,
has to be the right 6.
it has to be the right 6
Yeah.
in the right proportions too.
Yeah.
So we're having some fun.
Excellent. So let's go round everybody up. Let's get rolling. All right.
No, I was there for that.
You were there.
Oh, you were there for
Yeah.
that.
Yeah.
You were okay.
Now we have how did this business start?
Oh, really?
Yes. Yes, because
Elevator
Jamie
version.
cut that all out of the video. So you have to tell us live.
Expedited version.
All right.
Okay.
So a lot of these things I've, like scrubs and that sort of thing, I've always made. When I was really small, we lived on a farm. At different points during my life, I lived on a farm. We always grew things. We didn't have a lot of money. I remember my brother and I making perfumes out of cut flowers stuck in water until they got mold on them and stuff like that. But anyway, I had a history of doing those things. I had a friend when I was in college that grew chamomile and made salves and ointments and things. And after I left college, I moved into Philadelphia, and I just missed being in the country, and I wanted to have some sort of tie-in, so I started studying herbalism.
Hi, Albert. Sorry, I'm sorry to interrupt. I wanted to say hi.
I studied herbalism with the San Francisco School of Herbalism, which was the only way you could get that. Now, this was 1981, so the only way you could learn anything like this was find an ad in the back of Mother Earth News, right? Write them. They would send you a bunch of mimeograph papers that you could smell, and you would read them and study them and send it back, and then they'd send you a test.
This sounds
I still have some of them somewhere.
In a bottle.
The smell of mimeograph.
Oh my God!
I don't know what that's
Everybody 60, 70 years old would be all about, oh, you don't know, oh, sad you.
You could shove that into a sheet.
Yes.
You know what that smells like?
I do, because when I was hired,
Like,
when I was hired at my job, the guy before me had filing cabinets full of it. And I'm going through it, and I'm like, what is
They
this?
would pass
So,
them
yes.
down. You would take them from the kid in front of you, and everyone did the same
Oh my
thing.
God.
Fresh off the mimeograph machine.
And then they pass us out.
coming to your school.
The papers.
No, they're all gone.
All right, fine. We've been told to move on from mimeograph.
Okay, so
Here, pour me some
mimeograph
more.
aside, I thought it'd be a great idea. At a certain point, I quit my job after 9/11, and I was doing freelancing things, and I was doing a bunch of different art things. One of the things I was doing on my own was parties for kids in their homes, and I had a menu, and one of the things was make your own toiletries, and that was one that just parents went nuts over. It's like, well, why can't we make our own soap, or why can't we make our own lip gloss? And you can.
You can. As it happens.
And this was, remember, this was a long time ago. We're talking about 2001, 2002, the beginning of 2003. And I had this concept that this would be a great idea, that people would really enjoy being able to be creative and make things that they use every day. Not in huge indulgences, but things you have to do anyway. And as the mother of a younger girl, and my friends all had kids in elementary school, it was like sometimes the time you get in the bathroom is the only time you get all day, right? It is. Do you know what I mean?
Not even that.
Sometimes not even that. Not even alone.
Fingers under the door.
So that's got to be your indulgence, right? That's what you wash your hair with. Suddenly, it's not about washing your hair. It's like, this is my 30 seconds. I'm gonna really love it.
Exactly.
So I thought I would start this type of business. I had it in the back of my mind. I was telling a friend about it as our families walked down the street going to dinner one night, and I was telling. She invited me to tell her husband about it, and I was telling my husband too at the time, because he hadn't even heard this idea. And as I looked across the street, and there was a sign on the building that said, for rent, $400 a month, includes utilities. And so that was Friday, and I signed the lease on Monday, and that was in September.
I love it.
And December 3rd, we opened. Everything had been made, starting in my home, because I had to renovate the place. It was ghastly. Inside, and I renovated it, made all the furniture, and
what was it
made
before?
soap. Well, it was an insurance agency. I think I might have mentioned this. It had mallard duck wallpaper.
Wasn't it like AstroTurf or something?
Oh
on the
yes,
floor?
and
drop ceilings.
when we picked it up, I picked it up. I picked up the rug. It was like whoever put it down. They had just emptied their desk, and they put it right over. There were pens. There was
Didn't even clean up their
racks of staples. It was just like, the detritus of everybody's desk drawers. They just did carpet right over. So that all came out, and the drop ceiling came down and exposed the beautiful
the
tin.
ceiling is incredible.
It's a beautiful building. It really is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right,
Very
I'm
happy.
told we need to roll 3.
Yay, it's Jane.
This is Joanne.
Joanne, so nice to meet you.
You could not have timed it better.
Well, that's the story of my life.
So everything everything you see in here is just a starting point, because basically once you work out a scent profile or 2 or 3, then you just come in and say, I want this product with this scent profile, and she makes it. Or you can come up with your scent profile, and you can name it Jane, and you can send people here to get Jane.
Oh, everyone can smell like Jane. The scent of Jane.
Can I just make one comment here that one of the fruits you can pick is monkey farts?
Right? Monkey farts.
Bananas and bubble gum.
I love it. Monkey farts.
At least it isn't cow farts.
I love
one show without that.
So we're going to go by category, working through the florals to the herbs and all the way down to flavors. And you're not limited to this, so if you absolutely need to smell something else, we'll get it down off of the shelf for you. So this is what you're going to be making today. Perfume roller. That kind of label. This is just a label for legibility.
I'm excited.
These are made up of, essentially it's 80% the oils that we choose. And then the rest of it is going to be grapeseed oil, which is this range right here. And that's just to cut it so that you're not putting
Fragrance.
Yeah, because it's really not a good idea. You may react, you may not react, but we want to keep it a little bit diluted. Being an alcohol-free scenting option, this will last long. It's much longer than a perfume. This will be with you at the end of the day, maybe even tomorrow.
Wow.
When you put it on, yeah. Now, some of that to a degree is going to depend on what your notes are that you put in. If you put in on the top notes, light things like cucumber or hyacinth, they're gone, But the more you introduce things, particularly from the exotic category, the exotics and vanilla, those are the longest lasting of scents.
Okay.
And they will be with you. They will be the last thing you smell as everything else dissipates.
It's all based on how volatile that particular oil is. So, into this, you can put up to 6 fragrances. I'm going to limit you to 6. You can put in much more, but let's not go over that. 6 is a lot. Do not feel compelled to do 6.
Oh, okay.
Okay, but I do want you to experiment with blending, okay? Not just one scent, unless you absolutely just love white tea and it's got to be white tea and that's it. But I would really like to encourage you to try things. So I'll make it easy for you. And I promise everybody I won't let you make anything stinky, okay? Or anything that people will say, what are you thinking? Okay. Does anybody want to try it on? If you do, go right ahead. Okay. Okay, everyone's got a pen.
Right.
All right, and a paper. So I'm going to start with the florals first. Blue lilac. Blue lilac gets a lot of response because it's a memory scent. It reminds people a lot of Mother's Day, May, going to visit Grandma. That is
Reminds me of my mom's house.
it's one of the scents that people do come in and cry. We do get a lot of that. We do get a lot of spontaneous crying in here.
Really?
Because of memory. Scent and memory.
We got you.
But it's weird because sometimes the rose reminds you of your grandmother, but then there's people that hated their grandmother. This is another sort of memory scent. That one's honeysuckle.
Yeah.
Honeysuckle goes very well with rose. Most florals will mix well with other florals. They will also mix to a degree with some of the fruits too.
It really is.
Yeah, but she
Now,
didn't think she'd be like
what I have in my hot little hand here is
waiting
a
for this.
perfume that we created. Nicole had to leave. She went through the process and picked what the scents she liked, and she said, I have to leave. You all decide what it smells like.
That's trust.
So, I present to you, Nicole,
My signature scent.
Confessions.
I forgot we called it. Oh my gosh, you guys are ridiculous.
Yay! Tell her what's in it.
I shall.
Well, wait, let's see if she can guess.
Oh,
That's a lot of stuff to guess.
you just put me on the spot like a kid that hasn't studied for a test.
Like it?
I do. The's like something almost, I don't want to say menthol, but kind of mentholy in there.
I can smell it too. It is.
And there's definitely
yeah.
something floral.
Mm-hmm.
The more it sits, the more I like it.
That's going to change a little bit. on you.
Can I smell it on
Yeah.
So we done good?
Yeah. Oh, you done. You done.
Smell it in 5 minutes.
So,
It's gonna be
so
interesting. May I?
Nicole's scent is shea coconut, white tea, Egyptian musk, sensual
Amber.
amber, and rosemary.
And rose.
That's
what
the piney
smells
thing. Yep.
Yes.
And that
Here
was
is your-
Jane's contribution
You're
at
right.
the end
so
there.
good.
Yes.
Thank
Because
you.
we liked it, but it was a little bit flat, and then she threw that in.
Rosemary is
Little
really
zinger.
great.
Made it pop.
And the Egyptian musk and the sensual amber were two where I was like, they were in the musk category, and I was like, I'm not gonna like these. And they
Yeah.
were very nice.
Yeah.
I was surprised I liked
You
those
two
too.
switched personalities during
We
the party.
did. I thought the exotics, and I wasn't. I was about the flavors.
Yeah, I like. Ooh, that's good.
We did
am
good,
so
All
happy.
right, that's good.
Yay,
Thank you,
friends.
friends. Thank you, ladies.
They had a great time with this.
And-
That's great.
And thank you for this wonderful experience.
Yes.
It was
Thanks so
amazing.
much.
So
And-
much.
And
Thank
please
you.
Can't wait to come
stay.
back.
We only have 15 minutes left.
Stay with us.
Yes,
Stay with us and,
Yes.
and
I
join in.
have-
Great
I have to
company,
say,
good wine.
Yes.
I was so inspired by the experience. I have booked a party of my own with my family. But in order to do this, do we have to book a party with you?
No, absolutely not. Anybody that comes in off of the street anytime, you can walk in and you can look at what's on the shelves. And if you're interested in a product but you don't see a scent you like, walk over to the fragrance bar where you guys filmed and where you were all sitting, and you can look at what's available and make a couple suggestions to us, and we'll start bringing things out. And then based on what you tell us, we know enough to be intuitive and say, well, okay, this person likes musk, then they might like to go a little deeper. Maybe they want something a bit more exotic. Maybe they want some mahogany or something like that. And we'll help you to create your own fragrance. There's no extra charge. You can do this anytime.
I changed my scent completely. I had a whole recipe written
Seriously.
out, and then I was like,
Yeah.
can I do this instead? I changed the whole
It's
thing up.
always a surprise. That's why when people come in and they say something like, Well, I like a nice fresh scent. We've learned to take that with a grain of salt because a fresh scent for some people is patchouli. Whereas other, that was the category you thought you would like. On the other hand, there are other people that say, I can't tolerate lemons and limes and oranges, which I think of as fresh because they have this resonance with cleaning products in the head or something
See,
like that.
I was the only dog with a bone. I came in knowing pretty much what I like. They all were like, oh, I like this, and this, and nobody
But
got
I have heard that you have done extensive research on at least 2 continents. These things, so.
Well,
You know your scents.
I like to smell things. All right. Speaking of, because scents alter us in a way, and that's in a good way most of the time, except for patchouli. But
we'll be hearing from the patchouli people.
All the
I
hippies
expect
bring
a
us.
barrage of phone calls soon. But there is this strange thing that I've heard of recently. I heard a report on social media body dysmorphia. Apparently, people are going into plastic surgeons and saying, make me look like my Snapchat picture.
Yes.
Like with the big
Snapchat makes
eyes
you
or
pretty.
ears or yes.
Or the big mouth.
Yeah, they
Sign
are.
me up.
They
I
are.
do it. I think Snapchat makes you beautiful. I'm not gonna lie. I love filters. I'm a big fan, and I'm a fan of plastic surgery too. So.
My goodness, woman, you're beautiful.
Well, thank
Absolutely, of all of us, really.
No, really. I mean, why can't we just be happy with ourselves?
Well, I'm not unhappy. I'm just like a fan of like if you need something fixed, go fix it.
You know what? If you really want to read something, and this is a downer. The last issue of National Geographic is about a man who lost his face from an accident, and what has gone. It's actually a woman, a girl, and I'm not going to tell you how she lost her face, but she finally had a face transplant. But the whole magazine goes through all the stages of showing her and what it was like. And we all need to be really, really thankful for the faces we have. Exactly, because it is astounding. I think she was like 18 or 19 when this happened. She was beautiful.
And she lost
She lost her face.
Did she fall into a pine cone?
No, she...
Never mind,
no,
sorry.
You don't want to know how she lost her face.
No, I don't.
I get what Sheila's saying.
It wouldn't be a show if I didn't say something inappropriate at least once.
So what were you saying?
I get what Sheila's saying. Like, if you don't like something, go fix it. But
oh my
it should be
goodness, I could use
because-
a chin lift.
It's because you don't like it, not because you feel like you
you
need
need
to live
to
up
fix
to
it.
somebody
Right,
else.
right,
I think that
right,
should be
right,
yeah.
right.
Like my mom got those. I probably shouldn't say this, but my mom got those eyeliner tattoos.
Yeah.
And I was like, Nancy, and she's like, what? I like them. Then I can be in the pool, and I don't have to worry about my eyeliner. It was nothing about anybody else.
Right.
It was
Just
what
she didn't
she
want to do
wanted.
it makeup all the
I was like,
time.
lady,
Right.
you do you.
But I think there's a
Mom
difference
does it all the
between that
time.
and saying, I want my eyes to look like one of those 70s paintings of the children with the big eyes.
Yeah.
True story.
There's-
True story.
Just like earlier, there's a line that is crossed. Yes, thank you. We are going through this episode so bloody quickly. It's amazing.
It is.
Do we want to do the surprise topic? Absolutely. Okay, Martha said to skip it, but roll that surprise topic.
Okay, it's my turn with surprise topics. So, there are things that through my life I have said, like when I was young and my mother would say something that I didn't like, and I'd say, well, when I'm a mother, I'm never going to say that. And then suddenly it comes out of your mouth. When you have this 14-year-old daughter that you might sell for $0.25, it comes out of your mouth. And then I think through our lives, there are those things we say, I'm never going to do, and then we do it. But we all have a bottom line. There are things that we will not do. I will not pump my own gas.
What?
What is something that you will not do?
That I will not swim. I do not like water.
Okay.
I will not even dip my feet in the water.
All right.
Go to somebody else. I'm still thinking.
Okay.
Something that I will.
Because when I've tried to pump my own gas, I have gotten gas all over myself. So I don't
You're
One time I went to a conference and I had
Smelling
to
of
get
gas.
gas in order to get home from Pittsburgh, and I had no idea even where my gas tank was. And it was early in the morning. I had to wait until the service station opened so I could get help. But I will not pump my own glass.
I didn't know you had an option.
I didn't either. I thought you had to around
Well,
here.
I have a husband.
Oh, okay. Well, that's the problem right there.
There used to be a service
There's a
station
good
right
man.
down the street from me until about 6 months ago, where they pumped my gas.
Wasn't that lovely when you just drove
Yes.
up and
Oh.
they pumped your
of
gas and, they
course,
washed
yes,
the
they check the
window,
oil.
checked the oil.
But I still
Always
want to know
wash
what
the
the bottom
windshield.
line is, ladies. What's
Man.
something you will not do, if you can mention it on?
Oh, no, I never do anything twice. Except, never
I will
mind.
will not give Brussels sprouts a chance.
All right. Oh, my heart is broken.
Have you
They're
ever
like my
tried?
favorite.
I do not like them, Sam.
Have you ever tried the leaves roasted?
No.
Oh, they're fabulous.
I
roasted.
tried
One,
them.
two
It's the
chips.
same thing with calamari. I tried it once, and the way it was, it was cooked terribly when I had
Yes.
it, and it was like
Rubber
squid
bands.
flavored rubber bands.
Yep.
And I have been
Rubber bands.
told, but it's delicious when it's cooked right. I
It-
don't
yes.
care. I had it once. It was awful.
And
I'm
it
not
wasn't
doing
cooked right.
Same thing with Brussels sprouts. My aunt was like, these are delicious. So I tried one. I was like, these are terrible. And I've had people that are like, oh, you got to roast them. You got to do this thing. No, I don't need to do any of that.
I don't
I
want
need to
them.
eat the vegetables that I know I like.
No, won't swim, won't eat Brussels sprouts, won't pump gas.
Oh, I thought of it. And I know this marks me as a person, but I hate blood. So if you're lying on the street bleeding, I will call somebody. But
Oh my gosh.
if you don't want me vomiting on you, then you probably don't want me dealing with a bloody situation.
Okay.
Good to know.
It just freaks me out, and I mean, I've
You
seen
wouldn't
my
want to
own.
come to colorectal practice then, because
you
we got a
know,
lot of blood.
I have had several surgeries, and I've never looked at my stitches. I have never watched them
Really?
draw my blood.
Oh goodness.
Wow.
It's that bad.
Ugh.
Okay.
See, I have to
Do you
watch
have
when
a
they draw my
bottom
blood.
line?
I'm sick. I like to
Me?
watch.
Yeah. What won't you do?
Never again in my life. This is my emancipation, giving up the corporate world. Never again will I ever wear pantyhose.
That's awesome.
I can
I
get
was on
behind
a wedding.
that.
So when I threw my pantyhose in the trash, I was done with them.
Yeah.
It's gone. Halfway through the wedding, the pantyhose were in the garbage.
I think a lady always wears pantyhose.
Stop it! And I ain't no lady.
Stockings.
Oh my goodness! All right, and then,
Mine was, I won't pump gas.
oh right, you won't pump gas. Someday we're going to go out for a drive, and I'm going to make you pump gas.
Oh,
You'll be sorry, I'll get it all
you'll be
over
calling
you.
you a taxi.
Gas
All
everywhere.
right, roll that outro.
Brussels sprouts.
Oh, Reading. What's going on here with you?
About any
What
vegetable,
is going on with Wally Scott? It's
He just
it's
showed back.
it's a microcosm of our larger government.
Yeah, what was that new billboard that went
Well, no, he fired 3 people off the off the city manager and whoop. What?
What?
I don't even know what to say. Like I don't get it,
It's-
but you know.
It's what happens when somebody runs for an office because they love the city and they honestly believe that they can do something about it and do something for it. And they have done good things for this city as a private citizen. But they know nothing about city government.
But did he
Sometimes-
do anything really for?
In his neighborhood,
he
was-
did a
no,
little
but-
neighborhood thing.
But that's
Local
why
stuff.
it was local goodness. He's a guy from Reading. People around him loved him. He was a good guy, apparently. And so he thought that this would just transfer. I can put up that Christmas tree on 9th Street and people love me. And of course, he did get a nice Christmas tree for Reading. So, and he fixed the horse trough. So we can drink
I
out of.
still think the Christmas tree was not a problem.
Well, I didn't.
The ugly one? No, I don't think it was either. I didn't think it was that ugly.
No.
I think people are dramatic.
But I think that's what happens when you take a job and you don't know anything about what it involves. And city
Jeez,
government.
Where else is that in evidence?
Exactly.
I really don't know what you guys are talking about.
I've done that before.
This would be
I'm not gonna lie.
Oh my goodness. Pumpkin spice, yay or nay?
Apple cider.
Ugh, I love apple cider. I'm about the apple.
I have officially declared my side for apple cider.
I agree with her. Cider over pumpkin.
Oh, yes.
Pumpkin is just a bunch of
I used
spices.
to love pumpkin spice Wawa lattes.
Yum.
And 2 years ago, going to the beach, I got the largest size pumpkin latte that they had. I may never drink another one.
Why were you going to the
think I
beach
would
and they were
Not
still
me.
selling
Give
it?
me
I mean, that's
all
just
the pumpkin.
that's an extension of the season that was really wrong.
But
No, it's on
everything,
Pinterest
it's
and
too
fall, actually.
much.
I like it in
Yeah.
pumpkin pie.
Yes.
Yes.
That's
I'm
where
obsessed. I like pumpkin everything.
Yeah, I don't have it.
That's
I mean,
what
if-
you're
if
going on.
Now,
pumpkin
this is
spice
a
is your
quick,
thing.
serious topic I want to get to, and I don't know. No, I should get, quick. 400 ineligible voters in Reading. Whose topic was that? What does
Mine.
it mean? What?
Oh, yeah. They did a review on the voters in Berks County, and they deemed 400 of those people either illegal or just not eligible to actually vote. So, yeah, that'll be an interesting election coming up if all those people can't vote.
Oh my goodness, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
I was not aware.
Now, were they? 2 minutes.
Yeah, some of them were either
quick.
illegal or
Any-
they're just not. I don't
Any
know.
any
The
announcements?
Fall Festival of the Arts, Trinity Lutheran and Christ Episcopal Church running it through the beginning of October. I believe there's some wonderful events. One of them, they're going to do the Crucible.
Yes.
That's in November.
Oh,
The other event
yes.
I'd like to plug is the Reading Theater Project is doing Piper's Pitch, which is an allegory. It is not a children's show. It is not for children, and it is about current events. It's excellent. It's a creative endeavor. It was written locally by Joel Gorey, and it's this next weekend and the following weekend at the Women's Club of Reading.
I also have a plug.
Yes, quick.
Genesius Theater, Fun Home, from October 12th to the 21st.
Oh, a wonderful musical.
Yes.
Oh my goodness.
And it's gonna be
you have
amazing.
something about a mini greenhouse confession, or?
Oh, sure. I can throw some things in. Hey, guys, it's fall, which does not mean that your garden or your flower beds need to go dormant. Now is the time to plant asters, cyclamen, mums. Do a nice little display with some pumpkins. If you're like me, you'll let them rot, and then you'll have surprise pumpkin plants next spring, which is great. You could be planting kale and other things. So, and this is a great time to plant shrubs and things for next year and spring bulbs because they'll go dormant.
Wait, we're almost out of time. We have to
I love
thank
you.
Joanne
Yes,
Lapic
Joanne, thank you.
from Lapic.
Paisley and Company.
From Paisley and Company in Kutztown. Go visit her because she is
Yes.
amazing. Next month.
Website.
Yes,
And big.
PaisleyandCompany.com. Correct. Yes.
Yay.
Next month we will have more as we create wonderful scents. And she will not be with us, but she will be with us on video. And you are just amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We will see you next month. I am going away, but I will be here hopefully on my little FaceTime head, my floating head. But
On the iPad.
we will be back next Monday. No, not next Monday. Monday, October 22nd. Tune in. Thank you, Joan, Jesse, and Shane. And that's what she said.
We said it.
Good.
Bye.